Welcome to TJ's Bedtime Stories. Relax and enjoy. And don't forget to subscribe.
The following true story comes from darkstories.org. KFC from Hell. Wrong order. A road trip, a challenge, a stop we never should have made. My name's Levi. This happened 2 months ago, April of 2025. I'm not a food critic, just a guy doing a fun road trip through the Northeast. My friend tagged along. I'll call him James for privacy. We made up a challenge. 15 fast food stops in 15 days. I filmed quick reviews, rated fries, and debated sauces. James didn't want to be on camera, but he was all in on the eating. We kept the challenge lighthearted, a way to pass the time between long stretches of highway. It was fun. It was supposed to be fun. Stop 13 was a KFC in a small Maine town, tucked off a foggy back road. Everything nearby was closed. Rain blurred the windshield and streetlights bounced off wet pavement. The smell of pine and wet concrete hung in the air, mixing with the occasional gust of damp earth through the car vents. The town itself felt quiet in a way that went beyond the hour. No late-night gas station activity, no glowing signs of life beyond the flickering red open in the window. It was around 9:30 p.m. when we parked. Inside, the air carried the stale scent of fryer oil, but there was no kitchen clatter, no hum of drive-thru orders, just the fluorescent lights buzzing weakly overhead, and one man behind the counter. Tall, pale, still. His clothes were dark, soaked in patches like he'd walked through deep puddles, though there was no sign of umbrella or a jacket. He stared at us for a few seconds, expression unreadable, before finally saying, "Dine in?" The way he spoke was off, like the word itself felt foreign on his tongue. "Yeah," James replied. 3-piece combo, extra crispy. The man didn't acknowledge the request. He didn't enter the words into a register. He just turned and disappeared through the kitchen door without a word, leaving us standing there. We sat near the drink machine, the silence thick around us. I set up my phone to record, angling it toward where the tray should land when our food arrived. Normally, James would have cracked a joke, something about the way these places always felt vaguely liminal at night. But this time he was quiet, eyes fixed on the hallway where the man had gone. The man returned, carrying the food in his hands instead of on a tray. He set it down, chicken, biscuit, mashed potatoes, without looking at us, his movements slow, deliberate. Then, just as silently as before, he walked back towards the hallway. Halfway down the hall, he stopped. He didn't turn. He didn't continue walking. He simply stood there, as if frozen mid-step. His arms hung loosely at his sides, fingers slightly curled. He wasn't facing the kitchen. He wasn't facing us. Just staring ahead at nothing. Motionless. His clothes were wetter than before. The damp patches had spread. His sleeves, his pant legs. Water dripped steadily onto the tile beneath him, forming a small, expanding puddle. But he hadn't left, hadn't gone outside, hadn't been anywhere near the door. Then from the kitchen, a sound. Dragging. Something heavy scraping across tile. Metal groaning. Slow, steady. James stiffened beside me. He didn't say anything, but I saw the way his posture changed, how his fingers curled slightly against the edge of the table. I looked back at the man. His head tilted just slightly. Then his mouth twitched, like he was trying to smile, but had forgotten how. Then through the narrow crack in the swinging kitchen door, I saw it. Too tall, too bent. Its limbs were wrong, angles where they shouldn't be angles. Its skin like soaked parchment, stretched thin and gray. It moved like it wasn't used to having a body, like it had never worn one before, like it wasn't doing it right. The kitchen lights flickered, and it was gone. We didn't talk, we didn't react beyond standing, pushing our chairs in as smoothly as possible, walking toward the door at a steady pace. No panic, no sudden movements. We didn't want to see what happened if we did. We drove into the highway, came back into view, and streetlights replaced the ghostly dark of the town we'd left behind. Neither of us said a word. I kept my hand steady on the wheel, driving farther and farther away from that restaurant, my thoughts spiraling into quiet disbelief. At some point, we pulled off for gas, but neither of us said much. James glanced toward the food display inside the convenience store, but he didn't grab anything. I didn't ask. The hunger had drained from both of us completely. I deleted the footage from my phone without watching it, fingers moving automatically across the screen as if my brain refused to process the idea of playing it back. I didn't want to see what might have been caught in the frame. Maybe nothing at all. Maybe too much. I never finished the fast food challenge. Arby's and Sonic were supposed to be next. They never happened. Ever since that night, I've taken up cooking. I haven't felt hungry for fast food. Haven't even thought about it. Haven't had a craving. Haven't wondered about what new specials might be running at drive-thrus. It's like something cut the cord connecting me to it. Severed whatever interest I might have had. Even a little. Especially not KFC.
Extra crispy.
I died last month, but I'm still here. I guess you could say I used an extra life, except this isn't a video game. So this happened about a month ago, and I'm still coming to terms with what happened. My next door neighbor calls me, asking if I could lend my muscles to help him move a mattress upstairs. His mother has a pretty serious sickness, and she has one of those big sleep number beds. I was more than happy to run over and help because they're great neighbors. When I got over to his front yard, I met his friend, a priest apparently, who had already been helping him. Using our brilliant reasoning skills, we figured out how to separate the mattress from the bed so we could actually get it upstairs. Eventually, we get it all moved up to the room where his mom would be staying. My neighbor then asked if I could help him with one more thing, a heavy dresser. I shrug my shoulders in agreement, and we pull it out of the U-Haul and start lugging it up the stairs in front of the house. This is where I died. See, there are 11 cement steps leading up to his front door. I was holding the lower end of the heavy dresser about halfway up the steps when my neighbor lost his grip on the front end of the heavy dresser. Now, some people say the last moment of life is in slow motion, where you run through all these moments in your life within a couple seconds. Yeah, not me. I think I was trying to formulate a new curse word for this particular situation as a great wall of oak is pushing me backwards and down against the pavement. I instantaneously wake up in my living room. Before I even have a chance to try and comprehend what just happened, I realize my phone is ringing and my wife is asking me if I'm going to answer it. I pick up the phone, half expecting to hear the Grim Reaper telling me I'm late, but no, it's my neighbor. Again? He's asking if I can lend my muscles to help him move a mattress upstairs. Confused, but honestly a little intrigued at this moment, I walk over to his yard and meet his priest friend again, as this is apparently the first time I've met him. I said, I can help with the bed, but I'll have to pass on the heavy dresser. How did you know about the dresser? My neighbor asked, shocked as he turned his head to see if the dresser was even in my line of sight. I then proceeded to tell him and the priest what happened and that I'm pretty sure I died. My neighbor could not bring himself to believe what I was saying. That's when I described the upstairs bedroom to a T, down to the metal mattress frame on the floor and the intricate headboard leaning against the wall. See, I had never been upstairs in their house before, except well before I died on his front steps. After moving only the mattress, I spent the better part of an hour talking to the priest. He was just full of questions. What was it like? What did you see after you died? I almost felt like I was letting the poor guy down, but I basically just said the truth. It happened, and then I woke up in my living room. We must have all been preoccupied with everything going on, because it wasn't until a couple days later that I noticed something as I was walking my wife through what happened. On the sidewalk at the bottom of the steps, there was a dark stain where, well, you know. I've never been superstitious, but I refuse to say out loud what the stain really is.